Hello everyone, myself Dr. Sushila Saini, Assistant Professor in Botany, JVM GRR PG College, Charkhi Dadri. Today we will study about morphology and anatomy of cycles. This video it has been prepared under the guidance of Director Higher Education Haryana for BSc Medical classes. Morphology and anatomy of cycles it has been divided in two parts and today we will discuss about part 2. In our previous video, we have studied the morphology of cycles and anatomy of normal and coralloid root along with the secondary growth. So today we will start with the anatomy of stem. A transverse section of young stem, it is similar to the dicot stem. It is irregular in outline due to persistent leaf bases. It shows the following structure. Outermost is epidermis and it is covered with thick cuticle and is irregular and ruptured due to the presence of persistent rhomboidal leaf bases. Next to epidermis is the cortex. Cortex it forms the major portion of stem. The cortex is composed of thin-walled parenchymatous cells which are filled with large number of starch grains. Scattered in the cortex are various mucilage canals and leaf traces. The mucilage canals they are connected with those of the pith with the help of medullary rays. Each mucilage canal is lined by many radially elongated epithelial or secretory cells which secrete mucilage. Endodermis and pericycle they are not distinct. So here in this diagram we can see that outermost is the epidermis and it is covered with the persistent leaf bases. Next to epidermis is the cortex. In the cortex are the mucilage canal and the leaf traces. Also mucilage canals they are present in the center, that is pith, and these mucilage canal of cortex and the pith they are connected by the medullary rays. These mucilage canal they have these epithelial or secretory cells which secrete the mucilage. And endodermis and pericycle they are not distinct. Next is the vascular cylinder. Like the dicot stem, vascular cylinder it consists of many conjoint, collateral, open and dark vascular bundles which are arranged in a ring. Cojoint vascular bundle are those in which the xylem and the phloem they are present on the same radius. Collateral means phloem on the outer side and xylem on the inner side. Open, that is the vascular cylinder which consists of the cambium. And dark means metaxylem towards the outer side and protoxylem towards the center. And they are arranged in a ring, and this type of steel it is called as ectofloic siphonosteel. Vascular bundles they are separated by broad parenchymatous medullary rays and connect the pith with the cortex. Xylem it consists of tracheids and xylem parenchyma. Vessels they are absent. Phloem it contains tracheids with spiral thickening, while the metaxylem has the scalariform thickening as we have studied in the case of roots. Outside the xylem is the phloem which consists of sieve cells and phloem parenchyma. Companion cells they are absent. Xylem it is separated from the phloem with the help of primary cambium. In the center a large well-developed pith is present which consists of parenchymatous cells, and the pith it contains many mucilaginous canals. So here in the center you can see the pith is present and it contains the mucilage canal. Vascular bundles they are separated by broad medullary rays. Another characteristic feature of cycas stem is the presence of different type of leaf traces. These leaf traces, they are scattered in the cortex of the stem. The leaf traces, they constitute the vascular supply to the leaves from the main vascular cylinder. Each leaf, it receives 4 traces, 2 of which they are direct traces. Here in this diagram you can see this is the leaf base, and this leaf base, it receives 2 vascular strands from the same side of the leaf base. These are called as the direct traces, and 2 of the strands, they arise from the main vascular cylinder opposite to the leaf, and they make a round around the main vascular cylinder and then enter the leaf base. So these, they are called as indirect trace or the girdle trace. Here again we can see each leaf, it receives 4 traces, 2 of which are direct traces. They arise directly towards the side of leaf. The other 2 are given out from the opposite of the direct traces, and they are called as girdle traces. Girdle traces, they arise opposite to the side of leaf, take a round around the main vascular cylinder and then enter the leaf base. Such type of leaf traces are peculiar structure in the stem of cycas. Next, secondary growth in cycas. Initially, the secondary growth of cycas, it is similar to that of a dicot stem. So first, let us look in this diagram. These are the vascular bundle. These vascular bundle, they have phloem towards the outer side and xylem towards the inner side. And in between these vascular bundle, cambium is present. And this cambium, it is called as intrafascicular cambium. At the time of secondary growth, the parenchymatous tissue between 2 vascular bundle, it becomes meristematic and it forms the interfascicular cambium. And this interfascicular cambium and the intrafascicular cambium, both they join to form a complete ring of cambium. And this cambial ring, on the inner side, it forms the secondary xylem, and on the outer side, it forms the secondary phloem. So here we can see at first a complete ring of cambium is formed by the development of interfascicular cambium in between the adjacent vascular bundle. The cambium cut off secondary xylem on the inner side and secondary phloem on the outer side. This cambium, it also forms well-developed broad medullary rays which transverse through the so formed secondary vascular tissue. However, this cambial ring, it ceases its activity after a few years. After some time, this cambium ring, it becomes non-functional. So, a new cambium ring, it is formed in the region of cortex. So here in this diagram you can see 2 cambial rings. This is the first cambial ring. It becomes non-functional after some time. Then again a cambial ring. It is formed from the innermost region of cortex. This is the second cambial ring. So a second cambial ring, it is formed in the similar manner in the pericycle or the inner cortical layer of cortex. This layer, it also becomes non-functional after some time and it is replaced by another ring. In this way, successive cambial rings, they develop one after the another, and this condition is called as polyzylic. Polyzylic means more than one cambial ring. And in case of Cycas pectinata, it has been observed that a stem of about 20 cm diameter has as many as 14 rings of the vascular tissue. Annual rings, they are not formed in case of cycas. In case of dicots, we observe the annual ring, that is the formation of autumn and the spring wood, but in the case of cycas, no annual rings they are formed. Secondary xylem, in case of cycas, it consists of xylem tracheids, xylem parenchyma and fibers. Vessels, they are absent, and the tracheids, they possess rounded bordered pits. So here you can see these are the bordered pits which are present in the tracheids, and they are formed by the deposition in the secondary wall. The secondary phloem, it consists of fibers and sieve cells. The companion cells, they are absent. Cycas wood, it is soft and spongy due to presence of very wide parenchymatous medullary rays. Such type of secondary wood, it is called as monoxylic, and it is commercially useless because it is soft and spongy. In the order Psychedelis, we have studied that the wood is monoxylic, and the cycas, it also shows the monoxylic wood due to the presence of wide parenchymatous medullary rays and less secondary xylem. Next is the formation of periderm. As in the case of roots, we have seen that core cambium develops. Here also this core cambium or the phloem, it develops in the outer layers of cortex. This core cambium, it forms phloem or cork outside and phloderm or secondary cortex on the inner side. And one of the feature of cycas stem is that there is formation of successive core cambia in the outer zone of cortex. Outer periderm is peeled off as a result of the formation of next periderm below it, and that's why the older basal part of stem, it is comparatively thin because the outer armor of leaf bases, they fall off. Now let us discuss what are the characteristic features of cycas stem. First is the outline of the stem. It is irregular. Presence of large parenchymatous cortex and pith. The cells, it contain abundant starch grains. Mucilage canals and girdle traces, they are present in the cortex. Wood is monoxylic, means presence of wide parenchymatous rays and less xylem tracheids. Annual rings, they are absent. Primary cambium, it is short-lived and replaced by several successive cambial rings. Such condition is called as the polyxylic. Formation of successive phloem layers in the outer zone of cortex. Next about the leaf. Leaf in case of cycas, it is large and pinnately compound. It consists of an elongated rachis which bear two rows of leaflet. Next start with rachis. Outline of rachis, it is biconvex. It shows two convexity. Here in this tiers of rachis, this is one convexity and this is the another convexity, and these are the two depressions where the leaflets, they are attached. So the tiers of rachis, it shows the following structure. Outermost is the epidermis. It is made up of compactly arranged thick walled cells. It is single layered and it is covered with thick cuticle and has sunken stomata. Next is the hypodermis, which is multilayered. Hypodermis, it is differentiated into outer 2 to 3 layers of chlorenchyma, that is chlorophyll containing cells, and inner 4 to 6 layer of sclerenchymatous cells, which are thick walled and has depositions lignin. So in this diagram, here you can say outer is the chlorenchyma and inner is the sclerenchyma. Next is the ground tissue. This is the region of ground tissue, and this ground tissue, it consists of thin walled parenchymatous cells, and in this ground tissue mucilage canals. Here you can see the mucilage canal and vascular bundles, they are present. Vascular bundles, in case of Cycas rachis, they are arranged in the shape of inverted Greek letter omega. So this is the sign of omega. In the previous slide, as you can see, these are the vascular bundles, and they are arranged in the form of an inverted omega-like structure. Each vascular bundle, it is conjoint, collateral and dark, open and diploxylic. Diploxylic means it consists of centripetal and centrifugal xylem. The centrifugal xylem, it occurs in two small patches on either side of centripetal xylem. Here in this diagram, this is the vascular bundle. So this large triangular shape is the centripetal xylem, and on the centripetal xylem, on the side of this centripetal xylem are two small xylem bundles, and these represents the centrifugal xylem. Here this is the phloem, and in between the xylem and phloem is a cambium is present, and these vascular bundle, they are surrounded by this sclerenchymatous bundle sheath. Again in the diagram you can see this phloem, it is towards the outer side, and the xylem, it is present towards the center. So again we can see the centrifugal xylem, it occurs in the form of two small patches on either side of centripetal xylem. Each vascular bundle is surrounded by sclerenchymatous bundle sheath. Xylem, it is present towards the inner side, that is towards center, and consists of tracheids and xylem parenchyma. Vessels, they are absent. Phloem is present towards the outer side of the vascular bundle. Phloem, it consists of sieve cells and phloem parenchyma. Companion cells, they are absent. Cambium is present in between the xylem and phloem. Vascular bundle, in the case of rachis, they shows different structure at different level, starting from the base up to the apex. Here in this diagram we can see, also previously we have read that the rachis, it has the diploxylic condition. Diploxylic condition means it have both the centrifugal and the centripetal xylem. Now first we discuss what is centripetal and centrifugal xylem. According to the development of xylem, it is of two types. It is centrifugal development or it shows the centripetal development. In case of this centrifugal development, the development of the xylem is from center towards the periphery. Initially the protoxylem is formed, so protoxylem is formed towards the center, and later formed xylem is the metaxylem. So metaxylem, it is formed towards the outer side. So here in this bundle you can see the metaxylem is towards the outer side, and this protoxylem, it is towards the inner side, and it leads to the formation of endark xylem. While in case of centripetal development, The development of xylem is from the periphery towards the center. So protoxylem it is formed towards the periphery and metaxylem it is formed towards the center and it gives rise to the exarch xylem. So centrifugal and the centripetal, these are two types of development of the xylem. So vascular bundle at the base of rachis. At the base of rachis, as you can see in this diagram, only it consists of this centrifugal xylem and its protoxylem. It faces towards the center and it shows the endark condition. And here you can see that there is no centripetal xylem. Then vascular bundle in the middle of rachis. Here both the centrifugal and the centripetal xylem they are present and it represents the diploxylic condition. Centripetal xylem it is present just opposite to the protoxylem of the centrifugal xylem. Next, vascular bundle at the apex of rachis. Here the centripetal xylem is well developed, triangular and exarch, and centrifugal xylem it is much reduced and present in the form of two patches lying one on each side of protoxylem element of centripetal xylem. And at the extreme tip of rachis, the centrifugal xylem it is totally absent. Here also in this diagram you can see the major xylem is the centripetal xylem and the centrifugal xylem it is reduced to the two patches on either side of this protoxylem. Next is the anatomy of leaflet. Cycas leaflets they are large, tough, thick and leathery. It is differentiated into a swollen midrib portion and two lateral wings. Outermost is the epidermis and it consists of thick-walled cells. The epidermis it is surrounded by a thick layer of cuticle. Upper epidermis it is continuous while the continuity of lower epidermis it is broken by many sunken stomata. Next to epidermis is hypodermis. Below the epidermis occurs the thick-walled sclerenchymatous hypodermis. This hypodermis it is single layered in the region of blade. Here you can see this is the blade region. This is the midrib region and this is the blade region or wings region. And in case of the blade region, this hypodermis it is single layered. But in the midrib region, the hypodermis it is 2 to 3 layers thick. And this hypodermis it helps in checking the rate of transpiration and it protects the tissue from excessive heat. Next to hypodermis is mesophyll. Mesophyll it is differentiated into palisade and spongy parenchyma. Palisade tissue is present in the form of continuous layer below the sclerenchymatous hypodermis. Its cells are radially elongated and filled with chloroplast. So here in this diagram you can see this is the epidermis covered with thick cuticle. The upper epidermis it is continuous and the lower epidermis it is interrupted by these sunken stomata. Next to epidermis is the hypodermis and this hypodermis it is made up of sclerenchymatous cells. Below the hypodermis is the palisade tissue and this consists of radially elongated cells and these cells they have the chloroplast. In the side of lower epidermis, in the region of wings, the spongy parenchyma, here you can see this is the spongy parenchyma. Spongy parenchyma is present and it is made up of loosely arranged cells which are filled with chloroplast. And these cells, here you can see, these cells, they have many intercellular spaces and they are filled with air, and the function of mesophyll cells, as they contain the chloroplast, is to perform photosynthesis. Next is vascular bundle. In the region of midrib, so this is the region of midrib, a single large vascular bundle is present. And this vascular bundle, it is surrounded by parenchymatous bundle sheath. The vascular bundle is conjoined, collateral, open and diplozylic. That is, it consists of both centripetal and centrifugal xylem. This vascular bundle has a large triangular centripetal xylem. Here you can see this is the triangular centripetal xylem. These two small patches, they represent the centrifugal xylem. These cells, they represent the cambium, and here it is the phloem. So it has a large triangular centripetal xylem with two small groups of centrifugal xylem, one on either side. Xylem is present towards the upper side, it is called as adaxial surface, and phloem is present towards the lower, that is abaxial surface. Xylem and the phloem, they are separated by a non-functional strip of cambium. The remaining space of the vascular bundle, it is filled with thin-walled parenchymatous cells. Next is the transfusion tissue. One of the characteristic features of the anatomy of leaflet of cycas is the presence of transfusion tissue. Transfusion tissue, it consists of two types of tissue. One is the primary transfusion tissue and another is the secondary transfusion tissue. Here along the side of this vascular bundle, you can see these tracheid-like cells on both sides. So these small group of tracheid-like cells on the lateral side of this centripetal xylem in the midrib, it constitutes the primary transfusion tissue. Cells of this tissue are short and wide, and this primary transfusion tissue, it runs parallel to the midrib. Besides this, a zone of transfusion tissue is present on the either side of the midrib between the palisade and the spongy parenchyma. So this is the primary transfusion tissue. Here this represents the secondary transfusion tissue. It is present in the region of wings between the palisade and the spongy parenchyma. It consists of 3 layers of cells and these are elongated. And this secondary transfusion tissue, it runs parallel to the leaf surface from the midrib to the margin. So this primary transfusion tissue, it runs parallel to the midrib, and this secondary transfusion tissue, it is perpendicular to the midrib. Primary and secondary transfusion tissue, they help in the lateral conduction of water, and the presence of transfusion tissue is to compensate for the unbranched condition of midrib. As in the previous video, we have seen that the cycas leaflet, it only consists of the midrib and lateral veins, they are absent. So transfusion tissue, it acts as a lateral conducting channel of water. Now let us discuss the xerophytic characters of cycas leaflet. Outermost is the thick layer of cuticle. Epidermis is also made up of thick walled cells. The stomata, they are sunken and they are present only on the lower side to reduce the transpiration. Presence of hypodermis, which is made up of thick-walled sclerenchymatous cells, and they protect the inner tissue from high heat. Unbranched midrib and the presence of translucent tissues. So these are the xerophytic characters of cycas leaflets. Thanks for listening patiently.
Hello students, after the video on morphology and anatomy of root, stem, leaf, leaflet of cycas, part 2, here are some of the frequently asked questions from examination point of view. Students, revise these questions so that you can score better in your exams. These are some of the very short answer type questions and you have to write the answers in 1 or 2 lines. These are some of the short answer type questions and long answer type questions asked in the examinations. You have to draw well labeled diagrams wherever the need arises to score better in your exams. Thanks.